Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. Tonight's topic is the environment, ending the slaughter of dolphins and environment protection in general. And joining us still are officials of the Earth Island Institute, led by Trixie Concepcion, and she is the Regional Director for Asian Pacific, and of course Carl Ramirez, who's the Campaign Officer of EEI. Welcome back, Trixie and Carl. So yes, a very nice topic. I mean, I wish I could talk about dolphins the whole show, but you guys have so many other nice advocacies, and I want to focus on one more, which is your no plastics advocacy. So in a nutshell, let's hear about this issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, the use of plastics has been around since, I think, the industrial age, no? Before we even knew about the bad effects of plastics, it has proliferated so much so that now, like 1 million plastics are being used every minute, the whole planet.
Wow.
And each plastic, especially the ones you use for packaging, you just use it for 25 seconds or 25 minutes.
Throw it away.
Throw it away. And these plastics take from like 100 to 500 years to degrade. So it's there in the environment. And our biggest trash can, I'm sorry to say, is our oceans. So
it's the most convenient trash can. You know, people throw it in the waterway thinking, okay, it'll go someplace, and no one ever thinks about it, where it'll go. No one cares to think about it, but it'll go as to the ocean.
And unfortunately, some marine creatures see plastics. They don't know what it is. They've never seen it before. They probably think it's food, and so they ingest it. And there's been many documented cases where marine animals have ingested plastics of different kinds, and they die ultimately. But there's more to that. It's not just marine animals. There's also coral reefs and whatever. Maybe Carl could explain more. But yeah.
Okay, let's talk about how serious the situation is, because I did some research on the net, and apparently there are 5 major floating garbage patches in the world.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest is apparently in the Pacific Basin. And according to some estimates, it's 2 or 3 times the size of Texas.
Yes.
And we're talking about just an endless ocean of plastic.
Yeah.
So is this, have you guys, is this all substantiated? I mean, is this real?
Yes.
Happening?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes. Actually, recently we had a consultation with Eco Waste Coalition. This is an organization who is leading the Plastic Bag Free Day this year on July 3. This has been an international celebration event since 5 years ago. And Eco Waste is leading the celebration here. In their statistics, in their garbage audit, they call it a garbage audit. In Manila Bay, we have approximately 70% of the garbage that you can find composed of plastics. And from the 70%, around 26 to 27% are plastic bags.
Well, okay, what are the rest?
The rest of the plastics include sachets, sachets of different sizes, colors, and variation.
And then, of course, plastic
packaging
material
for the home and things like that, no?
But the biggest chunk are plastic bags. So every year, they have this campaign, the Plastic Bag Free Day, which they do on July 3. And this year, Earth Island Philippines will be joining the campaign because Earth Island believes that to protect the marine mammals, we have to protect their habitat. And one very big thing that is destroying their habitat is garbage composed of plastics.
Have you guys done any studies or field work and actually looked at how this is affecting the reefs and things like that? What is the direct cause of these plastics on say, the reefs, which is the home for most of the marine wildlife?
Right. Actually, the many studies from environmental agencies like the U.S. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, they say that when plastic bags reach the reefs, and they, get stuck on corals, they smother the corals. Anything plastic, from fishing nets, they're also made of plastics, or from plastic bags and whatever. So they smother
like suffocate the corals.
Yeah, suffocate the corals. And then, of course, when you do that, the fish can't get their food, and everything is, there's a chain reaction down the food chain. So, and these things don't degrade, not immediately anyway, so it takes 500 years. And definitely a coral reef cannot wait 500 years to regenerate. So that's one thing about the plastic bag. So if we, and this is a direct thing to consumers, this is something very direct to each of us. Please stop using plastic bags. We recommend using eco bags anywhere you go, or you bring your own utensils or your own plastic cups or wherever. So we think that's a very, very small inconvenience to pay for the health of our oceans and the planet.
Yes, but I mean, let's face it, plastics are a part of our lives, really. I mean, it's very, very hard to do without them. But what are the possible solutions, Carlo? What are you guys looking at?
Well, for example, EcoWaste is pushing for legislation.
Okay.
The Plastic Free Day is focused on not only educating people about the use of plastics, but for pushing our congressmen and senators to pass legislation that would include a national plastic bag ban. If the plastic bag ban has been successful in some cities, then why not do it all around
Namely,
the
which
country?
cities have
Quezon
okay.
City.
Okay.
Even Makati, I think, has a
There's a
plastic bag ban.
Okay.
Area in Laguna has a
Laguna. Antipolo has plastic.
Now, okay, let's define this plastic bag ban of the cities. What does it mean actually? What does a plastic bag ban mean?
Well, actually,
No establishments can use plastic bags
Well,
or sell like that?
actually, in my city, I live in Quezon City. You can still use a plastic bag, but you have to pay for it, like 1 or 2 pesos. If you're in a grocery store, you brought your groceries,
Very
you
nice.
didn't bring your own eco bag or your own bag. Well, what they do is, okay, ma'am, if you want to
It's
use
a disincentive.
yeah,
Yes.
we have to
Yeah.
charge you for it. I would think if a great disincentive for me is to higher up the cost of the plastic bag. If you have to
Definitely.
use
Yeah,
it,
Make it 5 pesos.
yeah, 5 pesos or 10
pesos.
pesos, which is a good way to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dissuade the use of
Yeah.
plastic bags.
In Europe, it's being done already. Eh? I
Yes.
mean, you go to Germany, you go to, practically all the European countries
Yeah.
have done it already. You go to a supermarket, okay, they have plastic bags, but you got to pay for it. So
Yeah.
people there, they really bring their
Yes.
eco bags, cloth bags, or
Yeah.
jute bags, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And schools now, buddy, like Ateneo, I've been there, and I actually went out to get the coffee and stuff. They don't use even styrofoam anymore, and they ask you to bring your own little, plastic mug that can take in hot water for coffee. And, these schools, Ateneo, La Salle, they've started it. There's no plastics there anywhere. Or if you have plastics, it's reusable.
Yeah.
So the single-use plastic bag is the focus of this particular
Okay.
campaign.
Let me be a little spoiler here. I mean, that's all fine and good. No, you have Ateneo, you have supermarkets, but these are really institutions or outlets that cater to the elite. But supermarkets, I mean, it's the A and upper B that go to the supermarket or B. And how do you reach now the broad mass of people? I mean, we're talking about even just Metro Manila, 15 million people, maybe even more. How do you reach that? Because that is the critical mass that you guys have to address.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ateneo is fine, but how many Ateneans are there?
Right. Yeah.
Not counting me. So there you go.
And in the area where we work at, for instance, we also have a campaign on Freedom Island, which is also in danger of being reclaimed. But most of the people there are fishermen. And Freedom Island, if you look at it, it's also littered with garbage. Okay, and when we have coastal cleanups in Freedom Island, the first thing we always find is plastic bags. And we talk to the people there living in that area, because we tell them their livelihood is based on fishing. Their livelihood, they gather shells, yung mga tahong also, for their livelihoods. And we tell them, of course, if there are plastic bags and it destroys the marine environment, it won't be good for your livelihood. So they definitely know.
Alam mo yung problema, you go back again to the mass market. Why do you have so many sachets? Because, predominantly the Philippine consumer is the great majority is the mass market, and they
Yeah.
buy, tingi-tingi, little
Exactly.
pieces. So how do you address, my question is, how do you
Yeah.
address that? How do you address, the sari-sari stores who have these plastics, they put the soft drinks into, et cetera, et cetera. How do you address that? That's my
Well,
question.
eventually, if you have the legislation,
Yeah.
You would discourage the producers of the plastic bags. So when you cut the source, eventually people will find alternative ways, method
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sell.
Be creative.
No, but kayo, in your campaign,
Yes.
do you guys have campaigns, online campaigns, videos that you guys are doing specifically targeting the masa? Because you've got to speak their language. You've got to do Filipino. It's got to be something real-time, real-world situation that, not something, that they can't relate
Right.
to. Are you guys doing that?
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
yes,
Yeah.
we are
In one of the videos we had
Part
Carl
of his 5
produce.
videos.
Yeah,
Yes.
is we have there a fisherman who was trying to fish, but then instead of pulling out fish, she pulled out plastics, and it
Yeah.
was, we have to present it in a very funny way so that it's easier, it's lighter to, accept and understand. So it just speaks like if you want to protect your livelihood, if you're a small fisherman, you must be involved with this, recycling. You must be involved against dumping of garbage, and you must be definitely involved with coastal cleanup. So yeah.
Okay. We have about 5 minutes to close. Let's talk about the No Plastic Day.
Yes.
Give us the details about that.
Okay, the plastic bag free day.
Plastic bag free day, that's the proper term. Okay.
Which will be happening on July 3.
All right.
We'll assemble at the Manila Yacht Club along Rojas Boulevard on July 3, and the program will commence up to 10 a.m.
At the Yacht Club?
At the Yacht Club.
Okay.
Along
outside the
Rojas
Yacht Club?
Outside.
Okay. All right.
At Manila Bay, a boat team of Greenpeace will be doing some gathering of samples, garbage samples from Manila Bay. And eventually, volunteers will be auditing the garbage, sorting out the garbage, and counting how many percent are plastics and plastic bags.
Okay.
And then we will present the data to the media, and people from various sectors, including Senator Villar and former Congressman Raymond Palatino, and representatives from EcoWaste and Greenpeace will be there to talk.
Yes,
And Earth Island, of course.
And of course,
Earth Island. I think Senator Villar is also active in trying to protect the mangroves in her backyard, Las
Yeah,
Piñas.
Las
no?
Piñas,
What do you call that area? It's called the...
Las Piñas Parañaque Critical Habitat and Ecotourism Area,
There you go.
Lela Pichea.
There you go. It's a long, it's a long word.
Yeah.
But tell us, okay, quickly, how special is this area?
Yeah, it is the last mangrove forest in Metro Manila. There's no other. It is also a transient area for birds that are migrating elsewhere. If it's cold in the north, they will go to the Philippines and then they will go to the south. The kinds of birds that visit this area, according to the bird hobbyists, the bird enthusiasts,
Birders.
the birders, yeah, exactly, are very rare. Some like Philippine duck or Chinese egret. These names that sometimes escape me. They're very rare. They say that these creatures should be protected. Their habitat should be protected. Actually, the Ramsar has listed Freedom Island as a critical area, okay, which should accord the area with some kind of a protection, especially from reclamation at the forest itself or nearby. So we think if you actually want to build casinos or call centers, you can do it in many other places.
Absolutely.
But the mangrove area can only grow in this part of Manila
Absolutely.
Bay, and the birds, can only go to this area.
Yes.
There's no other place. They can't go to our buildings or whatever.
Of course,
This is where
of
they can
course.
only go and live and find probably some food. So we think that this is more important than building casinos.
Definitely. No, 100%. We have 1 minute to close. Final words. Let's start with Carl.
Yes, we are inviting everyone
Give
who's
them details.
watching GNN to our plastic bag free day on July 3. You can use the hashtag Ayoko ng Plastic with a K and join us on Twitter and Facebook. You can post your photos, memes about plastics and why the Filipinos should not be using them.
Trixie?
Well, thank you, Buddy, for having us again here. It is World Environment Month. World Environment Day was June 5. And now more than ever, the state of our environment is in a very critical state. Everyone needs to pitch in. It's not only environmentalists. We cannot save the planet. Environmentalists cannot, but the rest of us can. Help us by doing so many things. Not using plastics, not watching dolphin shows, limiting your use of gasoline-powered machines or whatever. Just do something for the planet because now it's a very critical time for our planet.
Yes. Well, guys, thank you very much again, and I wish you luck in your endeavor and your July 3 event. And I'm going to be there volunteering. In fact, I already have my EII badge here, so I'm going to be volunteering. No, kidding aside, I didn't want to be there. That's one of my advocacy. So I'll see you guys there,
Yes.
and hopefully we'll have a good turnout.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So guys, join us again next week here on the show where we'll talk about what matters to you, because you guys matter the most. See you next week.